Good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to create a quick video to go over the work for today and kind of explain it a little bit more. I know it's different than what we've done in the past, but I wanted to see how we did with these skills. So last class, you guys read a little bit about Thanksgiving, some myths and misconceptions that surround the holiday. And we learned, hopefully, right, that the Thanksgiving meal, first Thanksgiving, was not often as we depict it. And it definitely didn't mean that everything was okay between Pilgrims and the Wampanoag tribe afterwards. In fact, obviously, the conflict continued afterwards. So one of the things that's hard about this time period is there's not a lot of sources. And we got to figure out, as historians, how to find good historical evidence, historical sources, and what makes a source good or bad or trustworthy or not trustworthy. So if you go through, you had the evaluating sources for Tuesday, and this is what will show up. So for evaluating sources, there are 3 steps that you got to take into consideration, right? The first step is you got to pretend that you yourself are researching a question. You are a historian, and you're trying to find the answer to this historical question. For question number 1, our historical question is, was a 1933 labor strike, a strike is a protest where the workers stopped working. So was a 1933 labor strike in New Jersey, in a New Jersey factory, effective in getting better conditions for workers? So in 1933, a lot of people were striking, trying to make their factory conditions safer. So we have our question. This is what we're trying to get answered. Step 2, we pretend that we have found a historical source. So you have found an interview from 1994 with a worker who helped lead the strike in 1933. So now we have our question. We have a historical source that might be able to answer our question. And step 3, we've got to decide what are the good things about this source and what are some bad things that maybe we won't trust. So why might we trust this source? Why might we not trust its source? So strengths, why trust? Why might we trust this source? While I'm reading and looking through, I might trust this source because, right, this is an interview with someone who was there. So for me, it's semi-trustworthy, right? It's an interview, there we go, with someone who was there personally. Interview with someone who was there personally. They saw it all. They heard it all. They helped participate. But what are some limitations? So why not trust? Why not to trust this interview? One thing that stands out to me is the interview was done in 1994. The strike was in 1933. So the interview happened 60 years after the strike. This means that maybe memories were fuzzy or it was kind of hard to remember. And you'll just do this for each question, going through, tying the strengths and weaknesses.